Welcome to the Bookkeepers Daughter. This is episode 2. I'm Angie, the owner of Project Den, and today Devin and I are going to have a conversation about talking with kids about money.
I think my earliest memory as a kid with money was our chart charts as kids. And I think we were talking about it earlier. I was like, wow, how old was I when you started us with a chore chart? And he said like 8. I'm like, okay, because that's basically the memory, or that's the age I remember myself at when I was, guys, I worked my chore chart like a job. Like I maxed out that chore chart as soon as I could, did all the chores. Like I was so motivated to run it like a business. So, but the point was to like save that money, take it to the bank, save it, but also to spend it on things I wanted, at that point. And I remember like, I don't know if it was 8 or what it was, but there was some like, maybe younger, there was like this Barbie Jeep I really wanted. And that was, at that point, you were teaching us the concept of save, and then you can save for certain things you want and then go get it. So I remember buying this Jeep that seemed like it was like really expensive, got it, and soon after those plastic pieces broke, and I was like, I spent all my savings on this, not my like savings, but the money I saved for this specific toy. So I remember like, okay, like that was like my first memory of being taught like the value of a dollar.
That's a concept, right?
Yeah.
So also the strategy of being at store and in a line when they're asking for things. Even 2 and 3-year-olds ask for things when they're in line, so they'll be starting to put things in your cart, and you'll be like, no, put that back, or that's part of what you say. But then the other part is like, well, if you want that, then buy me this. You should buy it yourself with your money, and then you don't buy it for yourself because you didn't really want it
that bad.
You didn't not enough to spend your own money on it. You just want, if somebody will buy this for me, I want it, but otherwise I don't really care about this. So that's another concept that starts really young, and that's I think where it probably does start. But there's all different kinds of ways to talk about cash flow and money and finance with young people to get them. It's not only to get them up to speed on how money works, but also to get the family comfortable talking about money with people, and as the kids as they age and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think also like there's different, like as they get a little bit older, like saving techniques and stuff, that even now as an adult, like think, certain techniques work for certain systems, I should say, work for others, and they won't work for someone else. So I remember one of my systems too, going back to my, like now I think of my teens, thinking back to my teens, I remember babysitting. I was a babysitter and a nanny for a bit, so I was getting paid in cash most of the time. So I spent all this cash in hand all the time, which was kind of nice because then you're touching and feeling the money, right? So it's like it's more physical than just like swiping your card, like just magic. You're not thinking about it all the time. I mean, you should be, but it's different than like actually physically having the money. So I remember putting it in envelopes where I had categories like pet expense, beauty expenses, groceries, savings, whatever it was. And that I think helped me for a while actually when I was really, trying to budget. And then I remember also having like a physical day planner where I could do pen to paper, which I really always loved to see my schedule like that on paper instead of on my phone, which now I just recently switched over to that because now it's like it's a family calendar, so it's easier. But in that day planner, I would write down my I think it was like weekly or monthly expenses, and then as I would like have money from babysitting, I'd like cross out how much I made, so then this is how much I need for the rest of the month to make the rest of the month. So I remember that was like my next thing that kind of helped me. I just kind of played around with certain systems myself too and kind of figured out like what helped, and I just loved visually seeing that. But even when I was doing all of that, I was always entering stuff into QuickBooks also. So
you talked about a whole bunch of different concepts.
Yeah.
Like the envelope system is a legit budgeting system that people use. Cash is not people's go-to money form anymore like it used to be. Yeah. But also when it is, you put everything in, and I even did it for a while. You have your mortgage, your insurance, your gas, your food, your whatever your categories are, and then you just put you have a percentage. Usually, not everybody does that. Sometimes some people do dollar amounts, but you do a percentage of whatever money you have, and you put that in the categories. And then as you go to pay for things, there's always money in these envelopes to pay for things. You're never short.
I think it really helps for teens if they're making money like cash money. I think that's actually it could help to strategize, or
You can do a 70-30 system because you're young, right? You can put 70 You can save 70% and put 30% in the, and spend 30%. Put 30% in your pocket. You can do whatever level that you want, but 50-50 is what we did. So it doesn't really matter what you do, what your number is. Just that your concept of savings, you start that young. So then you and your sister are great at savings. You have different ways of doing it. Then everybody has their own way of savings and their own reason for savings and their own categories for savings. And some people are just an emergency fund, done. Some people are emergency fund and vacation fund, but some people are vacation, like this is this vacation, and then we have there's different places where you're like there's digital savings accounts now where you can transfer it out and put it in there. And then the concept of writing it down. Writing it down is a psychological thing that helps you to cement in your head where you're at versus the digital version of it where you're looking at it. It's visual, so it's in your head. So writing it out gets it out of your head and it's on paper now. And I still write a lot of stuff out. I do journaling on paper. I don't use a digital journal. I tried. Doesn't work, but
I love the idea. It's just something about the pen to paper that really worked. It's an interesting, like, again, it'll work for some people. Now that kind of feels old school, but also I was younger and that's how I was making my money, was cash, so I had cash to manage more so than just like a number, so digitally.
Do you know the 99-cent rule?
The 99-cent rule? Round up to $1?
That is the rule. Yes. But it's also a concept that a little person doesn't know. They're not looking at pennies. They're looking at the dollar amount. It's $10. It's $10.99. It's $11. So that grows up. That transfers. If you have an issue with it, it's because it transfers from youth as you grow. It's a concept that you always have. You're always rounding down a little bit to make it sound better, So it doesn't sound like it's this bigger number. It's a small little number. But if it's your money you're spending on it, you need to know how much you're spending. So for saving for it, like you talked about.
When we were young, that way, I do remember being at the grocery store and us saying something like, "Oh, that's like $4." Like, no, it's $4.99.
Yeah.
So it's basically $5.
Yes.
Like it's
And there was times I chipped in for your tax because you brought the $5.
Right.
When you learned the concept, you brought the $5.
Oh, short on tax.
Yeah, so, but I'm not gonna, that whatever the tax is wherever you are. But I mean, I can chip that in. That's fine. But also, the fact that you were saving for a thing that you really wanted, and another thing is, if you buy it on the spot, like to think about the thing that you want and you're saving for it, and to go back and save for it, and then really go back and get it, you really treasure it.
Yeah.
Like you really wanted it. So it's a really great way to do it, as opposed to just buying, kids whatever they want at the store and spending every dollar.
But to have that concept growing up, and you really know like the value of $1, and it's funny. We just started teaching our 2-year-old about saving in her piggy bank, because we were on our walk the other day and she found like I think it was like a dime, and she was like, I think she said like treasure or something, and I was like, oh my gosh, let's go put it in your piggy bank. So she put it in her piggy bank. She kept wanting to take it out and play with it, which is really cute. But I'm like, so I was like, okay, we're going to talk about this now. So I'm like, okay, so we're going to leave it in the piggy bank, and every time you find money, we're going to put it in there, and then once it's full, we can take it to the bank and we can put it in your savings. We can maybe take a little out and go to the store and buy something fun, and that's going to be fun. We actually like go take that money and put it in her savings, and then take some of it and like maybe go, have her go shop with it or something, and see, she gravitates towards, and it's just gonna be cute. To like, first like concept of it. It's starting now at 2. It's crazy.
And that is the thing. It is a concept, and learning the basics of it at a young age is really good. Yeah. That carries forward to as you age and grow into it. It's not a scary taboo topic. It's not something that you don't feel comfortable talking about. Like you said, you and your friends talk about money. You have conversations about things. It's open. No one needs to know your salary or your total debt. No. But everybody's making money, and I don't care how much money you have. Everybody has a little bit of debt. It's part of the credit score game. So, so it's good that you have, because in my generation we didn't talk about that stuff. Yeah. And we figured it out on our own. We figure out a lot of things on our own. That's not something that we didn't transfer to you guys. We wanted you all to have a comfort level with talking about things out loud. Right. So I think that's great that, you're already having these conversations with her right now.
Well, it's been great because I'm pretty dang comfortable about talking about money with, with our family and our daughters and my husband. And it used to stress me out a lot. I would get stressed about money a lot before.
Fear of not having enough.
Fear of not having enough. Always. That was always my stressor.
Fear.
And I definitely have a better relationship with it now. Especially the past few years. I feel like it's definitely, I've evolved more where I'm not as stressed out about money all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really, it's like having a healthier relationship with it now than before. But I think being able to at least talk about it was really good growing up, and then learning as you get older with, especially like with your spouse or, you know, maybe your roommates or whatever, like your parents, you know, being able to talk about it is really important, you know, in a healthy way.
I didn't grow up in a place where it was comfortable. I grew up in a place where I don't think people had a comfort level with it. It wasn't something anybody ever talked about. We talk about it a lot now. Well, we're bookkeepers, so of course we talk about it. But also, you know, that whole being young and starting that conversation right now is going to translate. It translated to you. I learned with you guys. Like I started my basic finance concept young, but not as young as you guys were. I was probably a teenager and then moving out on my own. I was figuring it out as I went. Yeah. That's how I did everything. That's how I still do a lot of things. Probably not good, but it's true. But so then now to do that with you guys and then have you grow up in a place where it was comfortable to be able to, now those generations are that's a better trajectory, I feel like, for people to be on, to be able to be comfortable with money and finance. Like, it's not scary.
But you said, like, you're saying, like, I would just figure it out. I was like, oh, that's actually, I mean, that's like, you have that go-getter personality too. And that's like, you just like, you have a plan and then you just go for it, which is good. Everyone has that. A loose plan back then. Loose plan,
yeah. I didn't know enough. I know a lot now. I've been doing this a long time. I work with a lot of different clients. I listen a lot. I learn a lot. I see a lot. You know, I make suggestions and then see where that goes. And that's also just a concept. And can they handle the concept? I mean, not everybody has a comfort level with money.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where you start. They don't have to be little, and they can be. What if you're starting today and they're teenagers or adults? Fine. Because as we age, we also still need to continue that conversation.
Yeah.
Because you don't need your kids worried about how is mom going to pay the mortgage? How is mom going to get to the doctor? How is mom going to afford her medication? How is she paying her insurance? Does she have a will? Does she have all the things? You don't want to have to work. So that's starting young, and you're open with me and I'm open with you.
Because unfortunately, like, that just happened. Like, there are kids that are very worried about their parents' finances.
And they're not comfortable talking about it.
Yeah, they're not comfortable.
They didn't grow up like that. They don't know.
I think it's also important as your kids are getting older, like teens or in school, maybe saving for college, talking about that, because let's say their school isn't going to be paid for. They got to figure it out. Grants are awesome. They're so helpful. When I was going to school for yoga, I was working like 3 jobs to pay for it. I got a grant for part of it, which was a big chunk. That was like, oh my gosh, I was so thankful for it. How talking to them about like ways to get creative, to help pay for school if that's what they want to do. I think that's really, really important, actually. And then also something that we did for our daughters that I wish we had growing up, but I mean, you guys were young when you had us, so like.
Oh, I'm whatever you're gonna say right now, I'm doing it.
I know, totally. I was just gonna say, like,
we learn as we grow.
That's the thing. Like, we know things now that you guys didn't know about.
We talk about that.
So we just opened up for our daughters 529 accounts, so that when they are going to school, it's a really cool account. You should look it up. If you don't know anything about the 529, they can use it for just like all kinds of like school type things. Doesn't have to be like specifically just college courses, but like anything school related. It's really awesome. So
study abroad.
Yeah. So
there's take your
study abroad.
Study abroad.
Yeah. I think there's just meeting them at their level, whether they're 2 or they're going into college, or maybe you guys you're adult kids. It's a good thing to be able to talk about, for sure.
Because again, starting young helps the family grow with money as they grow, and then but it's never too late to start.
No.
Any other thoughts you have to say?
I just think that the younger you start, the easier it is, but also it's never too late to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Never too late. And to talk about it in a healthy way, because I think some parents try to talk to their kids about it, and it's kind of like they might not be the healthiest way to talk about it, So, and then the kids shut down. So I think just, if you can really just be open about it, no judgments, like that's a really good key thing to have.
I feel like our conversations were just conversations about concepts. I wasn't telling you what to do.
Never.
I would make suggestions, and then it's your money and it's your
Yep.
it's your flow. So it's just being part of that with you guys. You know, always try and be part of that with you guys and carry the conversation.
Yeah, luckily I never felt judged for my how I spent my money or anything too. Never felt it was just a conversation, like you said. So that was good.
It's part of my learning how I listen and watch. So please like and subscribe today to help grow our community, because it takes a village, and we appreciate you being here today as part of our community on our path to financial wellness.
Yeah, and then go ahead and leave a comment or a question, and we can discuss those in our future episodes. And if you find our info helpful, recommend us to a friend or family.
Yes.
And you can also find us at projectdoneaccounting.com.